Okay, let's do a pilot or another application. It says from the top of a canyon, the angle of depression to the far side of the river is 52 degrees. So notice they've done that here. The angle of depression to the other side of the river was an angle of 52. And the angle of depression to the near side of the river, so here to the near side, here's our other bank, was 68 degrees. Again, they've labeled that for us. The depth of the canyon is 164 meters. That has been labeled. What is the width of the river at the bottom of the canyon? So we want to know this value right here. I'm going to call it W since it's the width of my river. The problem with this question is that notice W is not in a right triangle by itself. Notice that is not even close to a right triangle. It's an obtuse triangle. But we can, in two parts, solve this problem. Okay, what we can do is take this right triangle first that goes to the far side of the river from the base of the canyon, okay, and find the width across here. I'll call that X. Then we will find the distance to the near side of the river, and we subtract the two. That will give us the part that's left, that's the width of our river. That's the plan we're going to follow. So we are going to start by going to the far side of the river and finding our X value. Again, the height of the canyon, or the depth, is 164 meters. Now, my angle up here, I have to do a little bit of work, because remember, this looking down to the far side of the river was 52 degrees. Our angle of depression was 52 degrees. We need this angle here. Well, notice together they form a square, or a 90-degree angle. So all I have to do is take 90 degrees minus 52, and I'll find the amount that's left to make up the rest of that angle. Okay, that gives me 38. So this angle's 38 degrees. 38 degrees. Now let's look at what we have. Well, our X is the opposite, the side opposite the angle. Our 164 is the side adjacent. We do not have the hypotenuse. What uses opposite and adjacent? Tangent does. If you look in your notes, tangent of the angle is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg for your angle. Let's fill in our information. We have tangent of the angle. What's our angle? It's 38 degrees. Equals the opposite, X, over the adjacent, which was 164. I want to solve from there. I have X divided by 164, so I'm going to do the opposite and multiply both sides by 164. So I get here, my X value is going to be whatever 164 times the tangent of 38 is. So use your calculator and first find the tangent of 38. Get equal, you should get 0.781. Then leave that number in your calculator and just put times 164. And when I do that, it wants the nearest tenth on these measurements. So when I do that, I get 128.1, and I'm only going one decimal because it only wants one decimal to the 10th. All right, so what do I know? I know that this distance from the canyon to the far side of the river is 128.1. Now, we need to find the distance from the canyon to the near side of the river. We need to find this value. I'm going to call it Y. I'm going to change ink colors so that this works out a little better. Okay, so now our picture is a little skinnier, our triangle, because we're only going to the near side of the river. Our height for the canyon is still 164. We have a new angle here, however. Now remember, our instructions said the horizontal line, the angle of depression when we're looking at the near side of the river, is 68 degrees. Again, we want this angle here instead of this large angle here. Again, if we look at the side of the canyon and our horizontal, that makes a square corner. So if this is 68 degrees, how much is left here? Well, we take our 90-degree square corner, subtract 68 degrees, and we get 22. So in my figure here, this is a 22-degree angle, and over here in my little remake, this is 22 degrees. And here's my y that I'm trying to find. Let's set up our equation. Again, we have tangent. We have the opposite here, the adjacent here. We do not have hypotenuse. So we're forced to use tangent. That's the only thing we have the information to use. Tangent of an angle, again, is equal to opposite over adjacent. Fill your information in carefully. We want tangent of our angle. What's our angle? 22 degrees this time. The opposite leg is our y. The adjacent leg, the one touching the angle, is 164. So I have y over 164. I want to solve for y, so I'd have to multiply both sides by 164. And I get that y is 164 times the tangent of 22. Take out your calculator, find tangent 22 first. You should get about 0.4, then multiply, leave it in your calculator, and multiply by 164. The less rounding we do, the closer we'll be to the correct answer. So we get 66.26. We're going to want it to the nearest tenth. 26 would round to 3. 66.3 is our distance for y. So if I go back to my figure, what do I have? I have the distance all the way from one side, from the canyon to the far side of the river, is 128.1. This part to get to the river is 66.3. So the width of the river, the part I'm trying to find, I can find by taking 128 minus 66.3, and that will give me my width. Okay, so again, 128.1, our first distance, minus 66.3. When I do that, I get 61.8 is the width of my river, 61.8 meters. Okay, so we had to do two different problems with triangles and then subtract the length of their bottoms to find the difference, which was our distance across the river.